Hello, and welcome to Self-Love Revolution Classroom. I'm Mia Saenz. I'm the founder of this group, and I'm one of the teachers of 14, so I'm really excited to be here today. Today is something very special. We are going to hot seat coach, which means that any questions, any issues, any statements, anything will be addressed right here in the hot seat. So welcome to the hot seat, everyone. Who would like to go first? So this is about anything. You could even ask me life questions. You could ask me, try to stay away from the psychic ones, please, because I don't want to have to shift in and out, because it takes me a minute or two to get quiet and pull in. So if we can just do the flow stuff of the ordinary life, that's really cool. And who knows what will come through. Okay, so am I going to pick on, or that was pretty funny. Am I going to call on someone, or are they going to call?
You could call on me. I don't know what to ask for, but I don't know what to say.
Hold on, honey. Hold on. You got muted, or I muted you by mistake. I was trying to mute Gwen's line. Hold on. Come back on. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you.
Ask me, please.
You're feeling like there's a little bit of hesitation and trepidation. So I have a feeling I know what it's about, but why don't you just feel free to open up? It's okay. So
I just don't know what the question is. I'm trying to be in flow, I know that I'm getting closer to meeting my partner, and that's exciting, and I want to be in flow with that, and I don't want to be in resistance. And so I guess it's just a question around not forcing things, not getting stuck on situations that aren't going to move me forward.
Right. So what's coming through now is a couple of things. Some of them I've learned personally, and some of them just feel to be floating. First of all, I heard immediately float, float, float. We've talked about floating a lot over the last couple of weeks. On a personal level of the actual connection with people, it's coming. You're also in a remote place, so you have to get rid of the fear that it's not coming, right? Because creation happens all over, just as caribou are being seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the lands that we've been working on. So can you imagine if we did a treatment every day, or even you started to do the treatment every day and watch the natural flow of your partner coming in, how fast that would happen. So this is what it would look like. You feel the sensation of your partner, or the idea, or the concept, or the love, and you'd get really quiet with it, and beautiful, and happy, and curious, and not in resistance, or not in the word hoarding or gluttony comes in, because sometimes we just jump right into swallowing someone up, right? So women pull men in, right? Like in the vagina type of thing, and men add on. Come on, I want you, lady, and I want you, and I want you. And it's like, no, not in the 21st century, but that's the way that humanity is. And so just be in that state of shifting the energy when it's scaring you. Also ask with curiosity, I feel you, or ask God, Creator, I feel him, Creator, where is he? Where is he? Show me. How do I find him? That's how I met David, who didn't turn out to be my partner permanently. He's the one that I told you guys that we have this pact when we're 70 that we'll get married or something. So anyways, the point is that each relationship is the launch pad for the next to the greater, and it can be this one. So change your stress that comes in, or even your thoughts. If they're happy thoughts, beautiful, amplify them. If they're fearful thoughts, remove them, reverse them, and replace them. Stay in that floating energy and be really curious about what's going on. we hear this a lot, but we don't actually practice it until we get to a certain level of getting through stress of relationships or through partners where we finally just settle down and go, okay, it's about me again. It's about me again. And so don't ever take the it's about me again away. I know I've done that and I'm back to it's about me again. And so we all need to be in that space, because if we're not, then we're missing everything. We're missing our life. We're missing our partner that could be right there looking at us. We're missing everything.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Thank you.
Good. Good, honey. Yeah. Yes, Malu.
I have a question about the ego. I'm a little bit confused about, you were talking about inner critic, saboteur, shadow side, but it is also part of the characteristics of your parents and ancestors, right? And
it's all brought in by our environment. So as far as ancestors and parents, if your ancestors are dead, they have nothing to do with it, except for how your parents were raised, how their parents were raised, how their parents were raised, how their parents were raised. Now, if you're talking about the gene stuff like bipolar, schizophrenia, whatever, anything that comes down like that, that can be ancestral, because that's also very much a hereditary thing. But
right.
as far as like bipolar and also even narcissism, that's created by an environment.
Okay. Yeah, it's just that when you were talking about the inner critic and the saboteur, it sounded like there are different aspects of your ego, right?
It is.
Or am I wrong?
It is, but your ego was developed, right, as from your environment. Everything starts from the moment we were born on Earth.
Yeah, so basically edging God out, I always say.
Yes.
Edging God out.
Yeah, edging God out. So when I was a little girl, I started hearing that edging God out, or fear, you know, the thing about fear. And so we have to make sure it helps and supports in our journey, but we also have to stay away from the what's that called? The terms, the slogan, the jargon, the stuff like that, right?
Right.
The inner critic is the aspect that is criticizing you all the time. You're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough.
Right.
You're too fat. You're whatever. The saboteur is the one that actually stops you and says, honey, we don't need to do this. You're fine. You're going to be super fine. We're not dying. We're not being taken out of here. Right. It's like, it's a major distractor. They're all distractors, right? In that sense, we do need to be aware of exactly what's happening with us. That's why in the Mirror Mirror book, we explain it the way that we do through my journey. Right. So that people could see and understand, because it can be sort of tricky. But also, don't get caught up on these erroneous things about us, right? About the name, about we only identify it in here so that you know that it's not you. There's something, an aspect that's in you that just needs to be shifted and corrected. And so as we lay in the new patterns in our brain and we start supporting ourselves in a loving way, I am love, mankind sees me as God sees me, it's okay, you're going to be fine. You know, when we talk to ourselves, when we self-love, self-soothe, self-comfort, the thing that's so important about that is it actually is laying in new information instead of you dumb girl, get over there, or, you know, that we've heard in our life, right? What we hear, we process through and it becomes us. 5 + 5 is 10. You know, 3 × 4 is 12. We know these things because they've been put into our system so much that it becomes us. We don't think about it. And so, so all of this we're not thinking about, we're just reacting. So that's why we give it names, so we can help process and remove it.
Just one more thing, because you're the only person I can ask. So if someone said,
Malu,
yeah,
it's okay. We're not done here. You're okay. All right.
I'm talking about it's part of what I wanted to say.
That's what I'm saying. Say it, girl. And you've got more to say too. I know. I feel you.
But what does it mean when someone says, I've done a lot of shadow work?
So shadow work is simply the erroneous side, the dark side, the painful side, the wounded side. That's shadow work.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And so because I try to stay as simple as possible, I rarely, and probably in teaching in the last 4 months, I've used the word shadow work maybe 5 times, or a shadow. I normally am more specific because when it can be scary, it's like you said, what the hell is shadow work, you know?
Yeah.
Do I go outside in the forest and get jumped by shadows? You know, it's like, it's scary. And so we have to be really clear. It's just the spaces that the light doesn't shine.
Oh, the darkness inside. Okay,
Yes.
I got it.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, got you. Thank you. So someone else. I'll shut
Okay,
up.
and you can come back. No, don't say that because I feel that there's more in you, and that's one reason why we're here today. What helps
Okay.
one supports others, believe it or not. At
Thank you,
some
sweetheart.
point in everybody's life. You're welcome. Okay, who's next? I'm going to talk to the Manhattan Mermaid. You're all in red smiling at me. Why would I not bring you on?
At least she's gonna pick me next.
Yes, I was.
I made myself a target.
Well, that's okay. I need targets.
I'm
Good targets.
trying to think of what to ask actually. I'm like, if I came to this thing and oh wow, this is gonna be great. And I'm like, what am I gonna ask? You know?
Here's something that's coming through for me.
Right.
The stability of where your presence is in New York and where you want to be. You want to be in New York and you also want to live somewhere else.
Yes.
That's
I
really
think
powerful.
that's a good assessment. Yeah.
That's really powerfully coming through very strong.
Yeah.
And so let's think about that and talk about that. The concept or the option of home, location, all of that is when you choose according to how you feel, not just in your heart, but like you feel where your epicenter is, where your space is that you can thrive. That's the
Yeah.
most amazing thing. To be able to add on a second home is also amazing. It also doesn't have to be that much money because you don't always have to buy another home, right? You can always Airbnb it in a location. You can save money or create something where you can get an apartment with other people without your money up front. And then you can have another place in another place, in another town, and you can fly back and forth. So I want you to show that there's options of your mansion or your beautiful cottage. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You can create whatever you want. And I know that you're in this holding pattern within yourself. You want more than what you're experiencing right now. And
So funny because earlier I'm thinking of the words holding pattern. So it's perfect. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a little channeling is coming through here. So if I was you, which I am, we all are similar to each other.
Right.
I would take the Dream, Believe, Create process in the fact of where you want to move to. So when I woke up September 5th, 2019 with the message, you could live anywhere in the world you want to live. Where do you want to live?
Right.
And I was like, wow, I just came from Sicily a couple months ago. I don't want to live out of the country. It's, I love it, but I don't want to do there. So then I opened up, I just said, okay, Father, show me the way. And I opened up Airbnb, and this house that I'm in opened up, and then it closed down, and then everything kept opening and closing. I mean, I'm telling you, it was like shutters. No, I don't want them open. Yes, I want them open, like really fast.
Right.
And then within 5 days, I'm like, okay, I'm not listening, apparently, so I will get my answer tomorrow morning. I woke up the next day and I said, okay, Father, show me. Opened up the computer, this place opened up again, transferred money within a matter of minutes. It became ours, and then we got into a lease and then hopefully to buy at some point because it's really hard to get housing on this island. So it can be as easy as that. A week later, we were up here. A week later, we were up here. Part of that was transit, literally.
Right.
So when you create something, when it feels magical, special, and everything aligned, people are like, oh, the stars aligned, that's how easy and simple things work. Another example, or a couple of them, I think, and this is to allay fears, everyone, that I'm sharing these manifestation testimonies, because we all think that we are trapped, we can't do stuff. It's a lightness, it's a playfulness, it's an energy. So when we found, I had a roommate that was one of my besties, and we had two different houses just outside of, well, one wasn't quite out of Beverly Hills, but it's actually about 5 or 6 blocks from Miss Evie from her little house in Beverly Hills. That was so cute. I loved it there. So the first house we found, she said, "Okay, Mia, do your manifesting. We need a place, and I think that this is it." So I just started pulling in the energy for it to be allowed to be seen what was right for us and for the fit to fit. And so we found our place. We moved in. Then when it was time to move again, my roommate was doing dark magic and I didn't realize. And so we brought in a lot of shit into that place, and I'm wondering, why do I have to keep banishing things? Why are there's these portals? Why are there's these spirits in here? And so finally we moved, and that's where I moved next, near Eva. And then I moved out again. But when each time we found the place, she's like, "Find it." And I found it, instantly. Yeah. And so it can be that fast. Even I've mentioned to you guys that I saw a place I wanted, and I kept saying for years, "I'm going to live there one day. I'm going to live there one day." And then when I moved out of that situation with my friend, my ex sister friend, I moved into the house or it was an apartment, but it was a corner one that was like built like a house with its own entrance. And I moved into that exact same unit. It was the craziest thing. A girlfriend said, "I have a friend in the marina who's looking for a house sitter for 6 weeks." And I'm like, "Well, I'll go look." And I drive up and there it is. And I'm like, I can't tell this lady that I've been saying for 20 years, which is how long she's lived there, that's my house, that I'm going to live there one day. And so then the second time I saw her, when she liked me and all that, and I decided that I would do it, the second time I told her, and of course what she said was, "Of course, I understand." So see, we find our tribe everywhere. That's my point too.
Yeah.
So in your creation, look at what you want, feel what you want, and you guys, the part about manifesting and creating and the dream, believe, create and all, it's not a small thing. Just like doing our soulmates, it's not a small thing. Ask for what you want. Don't be shy. We have free will. We have the ability to create amazing things.
I'm happy you say this, because my thoughts in the last several days, especially about, I could live somewhere temporarily. I can go somewhere for a short period of time, because the thing that's really anchoring me here is my mother, because my mother is in Westchester County and she's not well. And that keeps me, staying here in New York, and in this particular part of New York, that I need to be near her. And she's supposed to have surgery in May on her back. So I'm afraid to leave her, but my inner guidance keeps telling me, don't be afraid. She's fine. She's going to be okay. And you won't be leaving her. You'll come back. You can leave for a time. It doesn't have to be right now. I don't have to leave right now. I can leave in a few months and be somewhere for a few months. And I was thinking of my friend who lives in Tennessee, and it's not like my dream place to live, but there's something about that place where I feel drawn to be close to her, because I love her so much, and to be around her for a little while, because she's got this amazing energy. We're like, I always told her, I said, I think we were trees next to each other, oak trees. In a lifetime, we were 2 oak trees next to each other, Yeah, I mean, I feel like, like in profound, closeness to her.
Yeah.
And that's one place where I feel like I can see myself for a short period of time. And yeah, I mean, it's like, poof, the magic wand, it's that, I believe. Yeah. And I'm glad you said this.
Yeah. And another thing is, honey, you can pack up some of your precious stuff that you have in your apartment and put them somewhere, and you can Airbnb your place. Do it as a monthly rental, not as a weekly thing. And know that somebody can take your place to pay your bills as you go out. I've not done that yet, and maybe I will one day. I've thought about that. I don't rent out my place, but people do it all the time. It's amazing. I rent all the time. And in fact, I always, I'm so sneaky. I always leave my book Love Revolution on their little library, because most people have little library shelves of books,
Right.
you know, when you Airbnb. So I always leave my book there.
Yeah, and I have some interesting news that I live in the dungeon. I call this the dungeon
You live
because
in the
I live here
basement.
with no air, no light, nothing. I'm in the dark here, literally. And it's more than possible, and it's very likely within the next month I will not be living here. Like my everyday life will not be here. It will be
Yeah.
somewhere else. So
Okay.
this is something that's been manifested. Now we need to get somebody to come live here.
Mhm.
So that's interesting you say that. So like, yes, I'm putting it out there because I'm like, we got through one hurdle of the financial aspect of being approved for this other apartment.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
like, well, if we got through that, which was like
mhm.
a huge cloud of doubt that there would be. I mean, I was always positive about it, but there's like, why can't we get past this hurdle? This is
Mhm.
nothing.
Yeah.
We'll get somebody to live here.
Right, right. Everything has its natural flow. And
Yeah.
so as we create that, some of you have listened to Restful Intentions, some of you have heard me speak about it, that you program yourself at night before you go to sleep. I'm going to have a restful sleep. I'm waking up at, so for me, it's always I'm having a restful sleep. I'm waking up at 8 a.m. And I do set my alarm, but I teach people, I set my alarm because of all the classes I teach. Otherwise I wouldn't. But it's a powerful thing to be able to train your mind to be able to actually wake up a few minutes before your alarm clock and have your whole next day set out. It's about looking at what you do on your Mondays, Tuesdays, whatever your routine is, and see the smoothness of getting in your car. See the smoothness of driving to work. There's no accidents, there's no ice, there's no
Right.
storms. There's a smoothness when you get to work. You go in, there's a smoothness. Look, just like we look for our body, look for the energy of wherever you are. Get your coffee, your drink, whatever, move through your day. So, and this is just for all of you. You stay at home, I know, and work, I believe. And so others go out. So that's why
Right.
I'm saying this on the recording. And so you create your day and then you start again the next, when you get in bed in your horizontal position, whether you're with a partner or not, do your quick thought clearing and process and create a new day, right? A new day. When we go through emotional stuff, relationships, frustration, uh, family getting sick, whatever, when we go through emotional times, it's really important to stay on track. Doesn't mean that we're not going to reach out to our friends or our family. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have a hard time. It doesn't mean that we're not going to try to soothe and comfort ourselves in the most powerful way. We have to do all those things. And we get through it faster. We get through the healing process faster because we are looking for the exit. We're not staying in it. We're looking for the door. Even though, so say in my room, I'm feeling very stressed with myself. It's not that I'm looking for my door out of here. I'm looking for the door out of here, out of here, into my heart, so that I'm not in that chaotic space. And, I go through things too, guys, not as much as I used to. I say, wow, it's like thousands less than what I had before. I'm embarrassed by the things that make me stop and call Eva and say I need support. I'm embarrassed by it because it's like my 15-year-old girl with a guy thing. That's it. That's pretty much that bugs me. And so as we work through our own evolvement, it's less and less and less and less. And then you get through these other things very fast. Your relationship stuff, you're this, you're that. So know that there's an exit point. And it's all about smooth and harmony. We don't have to stay, and we don't have to stay in chaos until the next morning, right? Sometimes we shift ourselves. We're like, okay, so tomorrow I'm going to wake up perfectly clear. All this is going to be gone and I'm going to be fine. Great. But we don't have to. We can even get out of it immediately. We don't have to carry it another 5 hours till we go to sleep or 10 hours till we go to sleep to start all over. It's about being in the space of grace now, immediately. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's all working out for you, honey, and congratulations. I see greatness.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who would like to go next? Okay, Gwen. I'm going to also quickly answer this one. Gwen, I want to talk to you, and I'm so glad you raised your hand, but hold on a minute. One came in from over on the chat. It's from Carol. Relationship issues for me, getting discouraged that there isn't progress with the man I love and with other people in my life. Also getting discouraged that there isn't visible progress towards a physical healing. All right, I'm going to address this, and I know Carol very well. She's been with me on for about 4 years. Lovely, lovely being. Carol, write me if you need to, if you want, a conversation. But I am going to address this here. So when we're dealing with relationships, if we're not in a committed relationship, we're going to struggle. If we're seeing somebody, okay, is it okay if I keep going forward with this? Okay, thank you, Carol. She wrote me privately. That's why you can't see. So going forward in a relationship, we have to, our heart is not happy when we're not committed to. And we fall in love and we can stay with that person forever until wanting them to fully commit to us. This is something that we have to be, and I feel like I'm taking the words of Miss Eva, we have to be okay with it. We have choices. Our free will is to choose. Do I want to go on with this or do I want to shift out of it? And so if we have a partner that we are not, maybe I should turn it over to her. If we have a partner that we're having not smooth like monogamy with, it's very frustrating. Where do you want to be? And is it okay? Do you want to stay in the place of love? Do you want to talk about this a little bit, Eva? Eva is so good at this part. This is why we work well together. I'd like you to talk about the love stance that you talk about, that we have the choice to choose whether we want to feel in that immediate space of love or what we want to feel.
Yeah, you're laying it out really really beautifully, and I think just in alignment with what you're saying, it's just that choice of what we want to feel and then shifting the energy. So if we're feeling something that's not feeling good and it's not supportive to our experience, that we can shift that and we can reframe it in our own personal thoughts and then like lay the platform for that to be what we then experience in our reality with that partner.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a space, Carol, where we have the choice to choose. If going forward in this relationship with this man that you've loved for years, you either have to speak to him and tell him how you feel about all the things, whether it's good, bad, right, wrong, and he'll get mad or not get mad. You have to do it for your heart. And then decide what the right path is for you, to back down again and stay in the position you're at, to leave, or to be fully in. You have these choices. And that's the beauty of who we are and with our love. But the one thing that womankind does that is not beneficial to us is we surrender unto our man. Like I said earlier, we take in men and they add us on. So we surrender and we'll live these lives where, somebody might not be fully 100% committed to us. If that's how you want to live your life, that's okay. If that's not how you want to live your life, then you have the opportunity to shift and change it. One thing that I learned during cancer was that I had to be congruent with myself and with my healing. So that meant that if I was unhappy in the way that I was being treated or that my personal relationship was going, I had to shift and make changes for me, not for anyone else, for me. My soul was calling for change. My soul was calling for openness and love and to be loved in the way that I felt I wanted to be. Because we are individual and unique, we all want something different. And the hardest thing to understand is that everyone, even no matter how much we love them, everyone has free will. Everyone gets to choose who they want their partner to be and who they don't. Here's another side thought. Not everyone is as evolved as you guys are. Not everyone is as evolved as you guys are. What that means is we also combat some form of frustration because we know that somebody's not coming from an open heart or they're closed off. Everybody has their own trauma that they have to heal. This is why when we're doing soulmate work, we're looking for the ones that are healed, that want to meet us. Sometimes it appears that way, and sometimes then they get scared and they pull away and they come back and they pull away and they don't know what they want. So be very clear on what you want, you personally, individually, all of us. When we're clear on what we want, no one else has a say. I mean, they do for a while until we're like, wait a minute, this isn't in alignment with what I want. This isn't in alignment with what I want. It's a massive thing. We all want to be loved. We all want to be seen. We all want to be cherished. And yet there are times we don't feel that we are. So this is an inside job, everybody. It's an inside job. First, we heal ourselves so we can find, and it doesn't mean that it's like, oh shoot, I have to be on a 5-year healing process before I can find my man. That's not what I'm saying. Do the work, keep at the work, keep your awareness open, your mindfulness, your love, and then watch things. Be the observer, less bickering, less judging, more of an observer. And Carol, I'm saying this not as pointing to you. I started randomly talking about things that needed in relationships. So I'm not saying that you're a nitpicky person. So please don't think that, because you're going to like have tears all over. I'm not saying you, I'm saying overall, people in general. Does that seem to help somewhat? Now the health thing, when we're not in alignment, which is what I was talking about, I learned from cancer, when we're not in alignment with what our true desires are, it's often hard to heal ourselves, to make these healings. No matter who you have working for you, even if she healed her own cancer, doesn't necessarily mean she can heal you if you're not able to shift your awareness. It's the awareness that needs to shift in the individual. And I know you know that, honey. We both come from the same metaphysical background. I know that. So be patient with yourself. Love more. I know you're loving lots, very deep. And let's hop on the phone and have a chat. So make sure you send me an email. Okay. Thank you, honey. Okay. Let's see. I'm glad it's helpful. Thank you. All right. Oh, Philippa, we're going to take you next. We're back to Gwen. And then Philippa. So if I go offline, everybody, if you guys can help me be like, no, it's Philippa's time after Gwen.
Hi, Mia.
Hi. I'm so glad you're here.
First, Mia, I have to say to the Manhattan Mermaid, I would never believe she's living in a dungeon or in darkness. Because
I know.
light shines out of her eyes. And then I think, oh, but mermaids are under the sea. So of course she's in the dark.
Yeah, her little abode there, it looks always so beautiful, like it's like a castle. I mean, seriously. Yeah.
But I see light in her eyes. But Mia, I don't know what more you could say after all you have said already in the short time I've been listening. And it all goes to my heart. So just like everyone else, I want to be that create your own magic. And then it's like I get all filled up and then I go out and it's like, right now, everything around me is changing so very much.
Right.
You can make a plan today and it shifts tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And some things are good that they're leaving me because I probably never would have left them. Just a volunteer role I did. I am still going out at work. I'm doing a combo, 2 days at home, 2 days at work. And I guess the help I need is to just get more clear with what I want. But you said it, I just want to live in that space of grace. and I keep tripping up. And guess what, Mia? I can't get into your treasure trove.
You
It
can't.
won't accept my password. And
Okay.
then that's what trips me up even at work. I know how to do everything, and then I go to do it, and it's like, oh, but you can't come in. It's a
Okay. So let's talk about that. First of all,
okay.
I know that we've written each other. So I don't know if it'll pop up from my email off of my system. It might. So I'm saying write me again because I want to get your credentials for the treasure trove. I'm going to write Pablo as soon as we're off.
Okay.
Because I want you in there. And also, guys, know this. Pablo keeps asking me, what else am I adding to the treasure trove? So this morning I woke up and I'm like, okay, the beauty gets a revamp. She gets more stuff. So do go back over the next month or so because there'll be a lot more stuff in there for you. Okay, hold on. I wanted to bring out something that you mentioned and then it kind of slipped away. We get into this, it's interesting. When I first started coaching 12 years ago, and actually until about 2 or 3 years ago, I give people so much stuff that when people would sit in front of me, they'd be like, oh my God, I feel so amazing. Now I just go off into my world. And then I hear from them like a year later, it didn't last. And I'm like, no, you have to do the work. Me just sitting, it's not osmosis, you gotta do the work. And so this is a daily thing. And I will have to pull a plug here. I mean, well, you'll see what I'm trying to say. I don't know. That didn't sound right. Pull the plug means turn it off. I'm going to plug myself. That's it. And that's one reason why I created the Soul's Journey, the 4-month program, and also the Spiritual Self-Love Immersion. And I try to make it as cost effective as possible. So that's one reason why it's powerful to work with me like that in a group too. Besides, not a lot can swing the private. So in the group, it's powerful because you get your continuous support and help. And if you're struggling, of course, I would meet you at no additional cost because you're in the group. And I've got it. So it was supposed to change on Sunday. I haven't changed it. I didn't even advertise it for the last 4 days. So we're going a little bit longer on the discounted price. So I realized that this week and I'm like yesterday, dang it, I didn't do any emails. So stay with your work, Gwen, stay with it. It's about up-leveling to the point that you don't need support from others. And it's okay that you do. This is what I'm here for. This is what others are here for. But know that that's not untypical. It is the most common thing is people need support. Joanne is a coach and Joanne works her ass off and Joanne works with me. And she's one of my coaches. She's a coach. We're coaching together. We have a program that's kick-ass, dynamic, the Universal Love Project. I mean, how much more powerful can you get than teaching love to change the world, right? So I go to Joanne and sometimes I'm like, okay, what do you think about this? We all need support and love. So you've got to reach out to people, create your group of women. That's what I call the sisterhood. That's people that you can call on that you can call family at some point, that you really trust, communicate with, open up that bandwidth, and they come. I've always said, well, I didn't come up with it. Field of Dreams, the show with Kevin Costner did years ago, build it and they will come. But that's one of the mottos that I've used since 2009 to build my business, to help my husband build his, to help clients build it and they will come. The desire is there, you're building it and they will come. So that's the same for your mate. That's the same for your sisters. It's really important to be able to have that space within us that feels fluid and congruent, right? So I would say, look at your overall life. So it's kind of like the dream, believe, create. Where is the energy shifting that shouldn't be shifting in my life, that's taking me out? Is it on the way to work? Is it the people that I work with? Is it in my house? What is it that's actually shifting me? And so when we can look at that and feel into that space, everything is different, right? Because we're actually looking and going, oh, the mouse in the corner is the problem, right? Is the thing that's getting me riled up, or whatever it would be. I didn't want to point any human out. It's the spouse, it's the children, because also sometimes then it's like, wow, look inside you, what's actually going on, right? So if energetically you're not getting along with something or someone, then that should change if it cannot be energetically shifted. And so that's how people fall off track. They're not, the mindset, the awareness is not in pristine condition. And when I say pristine condition, I mean it has not been trained. So just as a football player, soccer player, boxer, we got a boxer here. Raise your hand, boxer. Eva. No matter what it is, ballerina, we do it, you know, if you want that bad enough, you do it so that you can be proficient, you can make your dreams, then comes the money, right? So it's the same thing in our life. We do this work so we become proficient. So our life is smooth, and then the money follows. Because why? Our awareness is different, and we can call and manifest. So you're not the only one. You're 1 out of 7 billion. And the reason I say 7 billion is because less than 1% has their stuff that they're working on and continuously working on and training themselves. So don't feel bad. Know that it's a human aspect and you're shifting out of it, right? It's that openness. And that's also why these classes are here, is so that, you know, people can come and learn and shift and move as they like. And also why I provide different teachers, so that one, I will say the obvious, since it's like a pink elephant in the room, one, so I don't have to do it every day, but it also allows others to come in front of you, and some are either learning to be coaches, some are already coaches, some are readers, but it's to give you guys a balance of what's out there, right? It's not always Mia's show. It's about you. It's about Eva. It's about the teachers like Barry Selby, Darcy Volden. There we have a psychic, you know, Elise Ann. There's so many good things. So that's why I provide that for you guys. But know that it's something that you have to stay with yourself. And if you don't, it's okay. It's like being sick. You get sick, you get out of alignment, right? It's like, I'm focusing on my healing. I'm focusing on feeling better. And then it's like, if you're working too, then it's like, oh my gosh, now I got to get back to work. Well, what happened to the body, mind, and spirit? It got left for a week while we're taking care of what we have to take of. That's what crisis does. And so then we go into survival mode. And where's the thriving? So I'm all about thriving in life, because I lived my life for 45 years as a survivor. And when I saw what was behind the shadow, I said no more. And so it's just a choice. It's just a choice. And it does have to do with mindset. You have to always correct your mind, bring it back into the heart space. That's where spirit lies, right? We've talked briefly once, I think, Malu asked, well, where is the soul in our body? And I said, it's between here and the root chakra against the spine. So we are spirit, we are body, we are everything. So learn to be in that space, that playful space where you can shift and move always. This is your time on earth. And you even have that big earth behind you, so it's like perfect. This is your time on earth to create and do what you want to do. This work, not the spiritual stuff, I mean, yes, the spiritual stuff too, but the actual work of the emotional intelligence growing, the physical part of it, the emotional part of it. As we do this, it allows spirit in so much more. Why? Because we're not blocking with our stress, with our fear, with our anger, with our hatred. And believe you me, I know what that's about. People are like, you're so loving. Well, I am so loving, and I've been so loving my whole life. I was also a twin and she didn't make it. So maybe on the other side, the reverse side is, I know I have anger, or I've had anger. I know I could kick anybody's ass if I wanted to, literally. It's like, don't tempt me. This is why I study love, literally, because I want to be in the light. I know for many past lives. People see me and they're like, oh, I see you this way or this way. And it's like, yeah, but here I'm in the light. I'm not going to off with your head, you know, seriously. So my main focus since I was little was being in stardust and light. I mean, that's how I saw it without even understanding. And this is where conscious awareness comes in. We don't have to know the words. We only have to know the feeling. Humans feel. And so when I wanted to be and felt like I was stardust and light, you know, sometimes when I close my eyes, I see myself out in space, like how you look to us right now, literally, like I'm up there floating. What is that? That's conscious memories. That's conscious awareness. You know, when I float, sometimes I also float in space, not just in the ocean. When I'm safer, I float in space. When I'm stressed or need to focus immediately, I put myself in the ocean. So these are just how we move through to recreate the human aspect into the understanding and smooth human aspect into the spiritual. You can never forget this part right here that I'm talking about, this middle section. We all understand about God, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be here. You understand about the spiritual stuff. Parts of it may be blocked, parts of it may come and go, and that's okay, but you feel it in your heart. It's the part about learning to make it who you are, to live it, to breathe it, to taste it, to feel it, to love it. That's where we all need to be. And it just takes practice. And sometimes a good kick in the butt.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mia.
You're welcome, honey. I adore you.
Oh, I just thank all of you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Let me grab Philippa's comment. And I even remembered that on my own. How do you distinguish between someone genuinely doesn't understand you or they are willfully misunderstanding you? Or is it, as you just mentioned, not evolved enough? Not evolved enough. I don't think that anyone's out there to screw you over, to play games with your head. And if they are, then of course they're not evolved enough. So when I talk about evolvement, I'm talking about the work that we're doing here. I'm not talking about so much the spiritual, because that comes flooding in like the memory has never gone once you get to that place. It's the emotional shit that we have to clear and learn how to move past in order to allow spirit to flow through. You can't pour water through cement. Water being spirit, cement being our humanness. We can't pour water into the cement. It's already hard and dried until you take it back to the state of where it first started, where it's soft, where it needs the water mixed in with the clay or the sand or, you know, the compound that actually creates cement. You can't pour water on cement and have it absorb. It just won't. You've got to loosen up the concrete, humans being the concrete, the story, the lies, the misinterpretations of who we are, how great we are, how poor we are, and poor, I mean in our own personal sense, not in money, how physically well we are not, how emotionally well we are not. We want to be on the other side of that. This emotional wellness, this emotional intelligence is the mastery of the human. You have spirit, you have a soul. It's been blocked since you came here to earth. You've unblocked, a lot of you have done a lot of unblocking. Get rid of the rest of the crap so that the water can absorb, so spirit can absorb into the human body, into the awareness, and guide us. That's what this is all about. That's what I teach. That's why I teach the emotional stuff to the level where I want you to be able to wake up every morning and go, damn it, it's beautiful. Even if you were under an avalanche, you'd be like, yep, come spring, I'm out of here. The idea is literally to be able to shift like the alchemists that we are, move that energy. It doesn't belong stagnant there. And if it's stagnant too long, again, look at why, what's going on? What's the energy around me that's not allowing the flow, the movement? Love. Okay, everyone. What a great point. I want to ask Sylvia, do you have anything, honey, before we go off? And thank you for being here.
I don't have anything at the moment.
Okay.
I didn't know there was this class today. I just received the email, and so it's a present.
Good. So just so you know, and so anybody watching this on the replay, thank you, sweetheart. I teach every Monday, and in my, this is my classroom. I teach every Monday. I have teachers that come in between Tuesdays and Fridays, but the first week of every month, I teach 5 days straight. And then if I want to throw in another special week of teaching, I'll write you through my emails and go, guess what? I have something special for you, you know, and it would be at a different hour so that the teachers, so that I don't steal you all away from the regular teachers that come in. And tomorrow I'm going to be here with Eva. We're going to be talking about mother wounds. So yeah, very, very
Thank
cool.
you for all this stuff that you are sharing. Just want to say one little thing, that during the weekend, I truly felt the need to integrate all the stuff that we went through, because it was a lot of work, you know, and I had a kind of, how do you say, very stagnant pause. I felt like this.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, when you turned off, whenever you turn off your, come on, Ann, you can come on, honey. Whenever anybody turns off their cameras, if you see me going like this, it's because the whole screen flips around and I have to get seasickness. Okay, where's Ann? There you are. Hi, honey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
There's a couple things. There's like the mother wound thing. I'll wait until next time when you talk about that. But when we had our private chat, I mentioned to you about a gentleman who lives in Europe.
Yes.
And I heard from him the next day. Ironically, yes. It was like a magical thing.
It's not though. That happens with me and people. So
I know. And so I heard from him also on Saturday this past weekend. And he got in more specific detail. He said as soon as, you know, the COVID thing's over, the quarantines and all that, he's going to fly me over to France.
Good, honey. Still keep up on the communication with him at least once or twice a week. You guys should be Zoom.
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh, I'm so glad, honey. Yay. We have lots and lots to talk about. Good. Congratulations. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful, honey. I'm so grateful you shared that. Lovely.
So I had to tell you some good news, but you know, in the meantime, I do a lot of self-care and, you know, connecting to myself spiritually and being out in nature, being around the elements really makes me feel at peace.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's about that inner peace, guys. I did not have inner peace until I sought it my whole life.
Me too.
Until I moved to this island, and this is where we know I'm supposed to be right now. Of course, I'm going to go visiting people soon, but we seek inner peace and we don't find it until we find it. And so we need to create that in our space. This is the first time in my entire life, first moving here, I could feel the healing and the peace. And I had caught early COVID before the cancer diagnosis, and I had it for 4 months because they didn't know, I didn't know I had cancer. Nobody even detected it in the hospital. And so my point is that inner peace is the most amazing thing. Right now, I can say over this year, 2021 has been the most gentle, peaceful experience of my life. Even though my heart is pulled here and there, I have felt comfortable, at peace. You know, I've been the matriarch of my family where I support a lot of people, and I've actually have started to push people into taking care of themselves. And there's so much inner peace that yes, peace. I'm so glad. Sorry, I went off on that one because inner peace is what we seek, and it's not always what we have. So thank you for sharing that. I'm really happy.
There's one more thing.
Okay.
I know a couple of people you were talking about like your living situation. My living situation is kind of iffy because I'm renting a cottage from a woman who's going through an incredibly toxic divorce. And her husband is trying to screw her left and right about, she wants to keep the house.
You're supposed to do it center, not left and right. Sorry.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say.
I was being playful.
I know, I get it. But he doesn't want her to keep the house, and she might possibly have to sell the house. I think that may happen, but she has to negotiate everything in court with her attorney and everything. It's a mess. So I may be without a home, you know,
No,
but
so let's look at it like this, because this is how I see it. When you were talking, I could see something opened up really beautiful for you. And
really,
so change that mindset. That's her story. That's not your story. If she has to sell her house, it will be a while, but she will be selling, you know, that's her story. That's not you. You are protected, you're safe, and you are taken care of right now. And what I saw in that split second as you were saying that, and I don't want to get anything all freaky and excited and all that, but it's really beautiful. It's what you want. So just
okay.
be at peace and hold that peace. Okay. Seriously, hold that peace. Everything's working out, Anne. Believe me.
I went into myself about it, and I kept hearing from my guides, don't worry, you're taken care of. It's going to be okay. This would be better than what you expected.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, honey. So keep on that. Remember, it's always a mind shift, a mind shift. So when I say mindset, we shift our mind until it's set, until we understand, and then we keep affirming it. That's why the mantras I say, do it 100 times a day if you have to, like I did with I'm in spontaneous remission, because you're shifting and setting a new pattern in so that you act that way, right? So it's not fake it till you make it. You're actually getting there quickly. So beautiful. I'm so grateful. Okay, lovely. I'm glad you shared that. All right, everybody. We will see you tomorrow for the mother wound, and much love.